Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, welcome. Today we have a very important topic about website speed. It's very important because most users are impatient. They don't want to wait when your website can show the content. And according to data, websites can lose 20% of conversion rate for each second of loading. So it's very important. That is why when you open Amazon, you can find a lot of content and get everything immediately. Amazon pays so much attention to this topic, invest $1 billion to increase website speed because Amazon knows how it's important to have this speed. I'm so excited to discuss a lot more with Nikki Halliwell. How are you?
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, same as you, really excited to talk about site speed and ways that we can optimize that for all of our clients and the massive difference that it can make.
Yeah, nice. Nikki, you spoke on my podcast. That was valuable. I love. So I decided to invite you one more time to learn more about technical optimization, about website speed, about importance, why we need to pay attention to that. And I want to start from average data. And even not average data about this well-known tool PageSpeed Insights. Many people can use this tool to check, and sometimes people are crazy about data or measurement of this tool when they can't get a green line. Sometimes people want to get 100%, but when I check Amazon, as I mentioned before, Amazon can be in the red line, but Amazon still is loading fast. So can you tell how it's important to check optimization with page speed insights, and how it's important to be in green line or even to have this 100%?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and this it touches on the problem that I have with PageSpeed Insights, as the first thing you see when you test any website is the green line. So you see the score out of 100%, and that's all people tend to focus on. And I think that's where the problem is with this tool, because you can quite easily manipulate that score to make it look like you've got 100 out of 100, but actually in terms of timings your website is still really slow, like the example that you just gave with Amazon. So they spend billions on it every year, but when you test it, it may look like their site speed is poor, but it's not, because certainly not when I use Amazon. That's why I end up shopping there more often than I should, because it's so much faster than a lot of the other websites. For me, I prefer to focus on actual timings rather than a score out of 100, because that 100 out of 100 doesn't mean anything. But if I can see that my site speed is now fully loaded within 1.8 seconds versus 5 seconds, then obviously that's something that's much more measurable. So as much as I do use PageSpeed Insights, and I think it is a valuable tool, don't get caught up with trying to get the perfect score, because there is no such thing as a perfect score. Even if you get a score out of 100, that doesn't mean job done. You never have to look at site speed again. Absolutely not. There will always be things to work on. So scroll down on PageSpeed Insights, look at the actual timings that it's given you, but also you can use plenty of other tools that will help you and give you insights that are not just focused on these perfect scores. For example, I use things like GT metrics, I use web page test, and all of these other tools that just allow you to see the data in a different way. And I find that that's much more valuable, and it's something that I'm able to communicate to my clients a lot better as well, because otherwise, you have the same issue of like, okay, we've got a score of 30, but how do we get to 100? 100 doesn't matter. 100 isn't going to help your conversions, but getting from 5 seconds to 1.8 seconds, that's what's going to help your conversions.
Yeah, nice. Love it. Nikki, you mentioned about metrics. I shared page speed insights. We have many other tools. And can you list your live tools that you use for technical optimization to check website speed? Because I see when webmaster use a lot of them, it might confuse where to start, what to fix. And my live tool, by the way, Google Search Console. I start everything there, then I can check with other tools. So let us know your live tools and how to use them right.
Definitely. I like Google Search Console. I think that's a really good one to mention, actually. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Yeah, GT metrics is usually one of my first go-to tools. As I mentioned earlier, same with webpagetest.org. I used to use WebDev, but that's now been combined a little bit more with like the Lighthouse tests. What else have we got? There's so many site speed tools. The mobile friendly test is also another interesting one to mention. So that's now been depreciated. That one's not available anymore. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to focus on mobile. That's like another thing that we can talk about. There's others like Pingdom. We have Gift of Speed, Speed Curve. There's plenty of tools out there, and most of them are free as well. At least free to start with, and then you can upgrade if you need to. But yeah, my top two outside of Search Console is webpagetest.org and GT Metrics.
Yeah, nice. And can you list advantages of using your Living tools? Why you use them? Because I think other tools can show the same metrics. And I'm interested about keyword research tools that still have website optimization tips like Ahrefs, SEMrush, because I see customers who use these tools. Is it a good idea to use data from Ahrefs, or it's better to pay attention to tools that you mentioned that only share technical optimization tips?
I do use these other tools, but for site speed, personally, I do prefer to stick to those because they are specialized in tech. They're specialized in measuring site speed. So I find that I can trust the information a lot more, and it tends to more closely align with what I see when I'm testing as well. And I also like that with most of these tools, you can change your location. So you can test from where I am now in the UK, but I can also test from where the client might be based. For example, I might be here in the UK, but the client is based in New York. I have another client who actually they're based in Australia, but their target audience is America. So by using these tools, I can set the different locations so that then I can measure the site speed as them as site owners and as their target audience can use it. So that's why I like to use those specialized tools. And actually, there's another one that I haven't mentioned, which is called Debug Bear. And that one's really useful because that allows you to track the site speed over time. So you can really see it on a graph, how it's changed throughout the month or throughout the course of the quarter. And that's really useful, especially if you're working on a site speed project. You can see when things started to improve, or equally when the problem started, so that you need to take action. And they're really useful for just getting data that you can visualize in different ways and being able to translate that in a way that your client's going to understand as well.
Nice. For non-technical people, and I have most customers are not technical, they don't know or don't understand data from these tools. Can you tell how to choose priorities? Because it doesn't matter what kind of tool I use, I can get 100 tips what to fix, but it's tough to understand for someone who is not familiar with that. Probably most clients are good with developing, creating products in specific niches, and they don't know what to fix, where to start, and how to do it right. So can you tell how to choose priorities, which metrics are important to fix or data, and which we can ignore, and who can do it, like in the right way?
Yeah, there's so many metrics, isn't there? I found time to first byte to be a really interesting one to start with. So that measures, it's basically looking at your server and how long it takes your server to respond. And that will tell you where the issue is. A really good test that I perform actually is I run my site, my whole website through one of these site speed tools that we just mentioned. And then I do the same test with just my robots.txt URL, because that's a very plain page. It's not going to be heavy because it's just a robots.txt. And then that allows me to see where the issue is, because if the fully loaded time on that robots.txt page is really slow, I know that the issue is going to be on the server. Whereas if it's fast, but my homepage is slow, then I know that it's going to be an issue with the homepage, the content rather than the server. So that gives me a really good starting point, and then I can go down various rabbit holes with that. But that one's really useful. In terms of getting people to understand, where to start, it's different with every website, but especially if there's somebody that's not very technical, and you don't want to be going to them and saying you need to do this with your JavaScript. You've got an issue with this file that needs minification, because they're just going to look at you and be like, I don't know what any of that means. How am I supposed to communicate that to my developers? So what I find, actually, one of the really effective things to do is to start with images. Images is something that everybody can understand, and they're more often than not one of the heaviest resources on a page. Hopefully everyone by now understands that with a website you need to make sure that they're optimized. Don't load huge images. You need to make sure that they're dealt with efficiently. So by starting with that, once you've implemented whatever fixes you need with your images, whether it's making sure that they're lazy loaded, whether it's just actually reducing the file size, whatever it is, once you've done that and you've seen those results, then you'll find that your client will be much more receptive to the recommendations that you're making, and then they'll be open to listening to you when you then go back to them and be like, right, now we need to do this with the code. So it's a really effective way to just get them to trust you, really.
Yeah, nice. Nikki, I love your passion, because I see people are coming home. So it's night, because I don't know which time you have right now.
I'm in the office at the minute. It's 4:15 p.m.
Okay, got it. So yeah, I'm in Florida. We have
Nice.
time difference, but yeah, I like your passion, because people are crossing passion, but you keep sharing this valuable insights. And Nikki, I want to ask about server issue, and I want to share a specific example, because right now we are working on one big project. We'll see this project soon. It's AI tool that will check all website, including technical optimization, and will update content for pages, because we work a lot with investing trading niches, and we got great results on this direction. For example, one website, we grew traffic from completely zero, to plus 2,000 people a day. When we have competitors, $1 billion companies, big companies, but we found the way how we can compete, how we can take a small piece of this pie, But anyway, we found one issue. We have a server in a well-known website, not like Amazon, but most web developers told that we can fix some problems. We need to transfer everything to Amazon to use this server. And can you tell me why, or people, because we need to pay more for Amazon? That's okay. If we need, we will do it. No worries about that. But can you tell what kind of benefits Amazon or other popular tools can have compared to others, and why other services can decide such issue? If you have experience on that, of course.
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. I mean, it just comes down to having a more robust server, so it's able to accommodate more bandwidth. You can have more traffic on there, and it's not going to fall over when you're adding new elements to the site and expanding it in terms of the design and the technology that's on the website, and also just the amount of visitors that come to it. That can be where you struggle sometimes. So by paying more for a robust server from Amazon or from somebody else, you're less likely to have those issues. And because it's more powerful, it's able to load the resources that you have that little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. Okay, gotcha. Nikki, I want to ask about your strong side. We have a lot of great experts in technical optimization. I don't know how many, probably 1 million people, can work on this niche. A lot of them, but I think everyone has own strong side, can lead projects in the right direction. I want to ask about your strong side. Can you tell why you're better than 1 million other people, and how you can help much better than others?
You can't have me saying that I'm better than everybody else. Screw everybody else, come to me. I can't say that. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's so many people here, but I think it comes down to the passion that you mentioned. So I have several different jobs all within SEO, because I'll finish here in about an hour or two, and then I'll go home, and then I'll still be doing SEO work and on my other various projects. And my wife is always telling me to pack it in and watch TV and do this and do that. And I don't really spend some time with her and the family. But yeah, like I really enjoy SEO. I spend a lot of time doing it because, like you said, because I am passionate about it. But I think the key is actually being able to talk to people, and that, to translate the issues and understand them. And that doesn't matter whether you're talking to a client or a developer or somebody that's completely new to the industry. Whoever your audience is, whoever the stakeholders are, you need to be able to communicate with them. Anybody can sit down and read from a list of issues and tell them that, PageSpeed Insights is saying that you've got an issue with your JavaScript again. You need to make sure that that's being managed, and they can read out what that says. But then your client's going to turn around and say, okay, but what does that mean? And that's not going to be written on PageSpeed Insights. So you need to be able to explain that, but more importantly, explain it in a way that they're going to understand. And that's where the difference comes in. And that's why you have people like myself and a lot of the other people that you've had on this podcast who are more expert in these sorts of areas. And that's the insight that you need, someone that's really going to help you understand it, but also someone that's going to help you see it through to completion, and not just say, fix this, and then go home and then you never hear from them again. You need someone that's going to actually work with you all the way through it until it's completed, and then test it as well once it's done, so you can actually see the results. And I think all of that is where you see such big differences.
Nice. I'm interested about your passion. You mentioned that you can come home without spending time with your family. You can keep optimizing websites to work in SEO, because sometimes I get the question how you can be passionate about digital marketing or SEO if it's boring. I don't think it's boring. For me, it's art. If you love what you do, if you enjoy the process, and I like more the process than rewards. Of course, I like rewards too, but I don't think it's a good idea to work because of rewards. If you get them, it's short effect, nothing special. Okay, I got it, I love it, but I need to enjoy the process. Can you tell how you can enjoy the process at home? Okay, you're at home, spend time with your family, watch TV, I don't know, love this life, but why you still working on SEO?
I guess I'm just a nerd. But no, I like that with SEO that it's never a black and white answer. There's always something that you can dig into and find out and go down that rabbit hole. Or even if you fix something 100 times on one website, you might come across this other that, although they have the same issue, you can't fix it in the same way because they have a different piece of technology, or because there's something going on internally, like internal politics or something that means that you can't approach it in the same way. So then you've got to find different ways around it. I guess I'm just that nerdy that I just like finding those different ways to do it. And I just find it hard sometimes to switch off my brain. Like if I know that I have a lot of things to do, I can be sat, in front of the telly with my family watching our favorite shows. But in the back of my mind, it's like, yeah, but there's that one thing. So then I'll just sit next to them and get my laptop out and just do it quickly. But then, there is definitely that time where I know that I need to, turn the laptop off and sit down. And I do that. I do it very well, but also I have like several different websites, and they're almost like my little babies, and I can just tweak this bit here and tweak this bit there, and then I'll work with this client on this sort of project. So I think it's also because there's like lots of little things that are all different that I can dip in and out of, and I think that's a lot of where like the passion comes from as well. It's never just the same thing that I'm doing every day.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. Nikki, I want to ask about security. The last time we met a few situations when some websites were broken, and of course, it's better to pay attention to, I don't know, like to preparation, to prepare your website to secure with plugins, with server issues, than to treat, because but anyway, if it happens, can you advise what to do? Because it's tough to find these malwares, and I remember when we spent 3 months to fix the project, because even Google Search Console, other tools didn't show this malware, but we found that Ahrefs show some pages, some backlinks that are coming from our website. Then we found new pages appealed, and this malware changed some settings in WordPress plugins. That was the most toughest challenge part in this job, to fix everything. Like, we spent 3 months. Then we decided to get back the previous version and add this content one more time. Yeah, that was really tough. Can you tell, if you have experience with security, how to secure website, because it can impact to technical optimization as well? And we found if you set up any plugins, or even to use some process, it can impact to technical optimization. Any tips about that?
I think that's the problem that you can have sometimes with WordPress sites, isn't it? Like, it's easy to set up access for lots of different users, and anybody can make changes. And then you're like, well, who's added this plugin? What does this plugin even do? And then you might have 2 different plugins that do the same thing, but they're actually conflicting with each other. And then you make a quick change on there, and it takes the whole site down. So, yeah, it can definitely be difficult. I mean, I think regardless of whether it's a WordPress site or another CMS, try and limit who has access, or the level of access that everybody has. Don't make everyone an admin. Perhaps they just need to be an editor so they can see things but not change things. But then you can also have a changelog. WordPress and other CMSs do it quite well, and it's relatively easy to set up. But then you can see, okay, user Nikki made a change within this plugin, and this user here made this change. And then you can actually, it can be a lot easier to see where the change come from and actually who might have been responsible for it. But then when you know where it come from, you can see when it was, how it affected your data, how it affected the performance, and then you can make more informed decisions about how you can actually fix that and try to stop it happening again in future.
Yeah, okay, got it. And yeah, I want to ask only questions that I have personal experience in my practice, because my customers and I personally had many issues. And the main question about migration, when you need to migrate the old website to a new one. And we worked with one project, and we decided to rebrand. The main reason was a few reasons, but the main reason was even website owner didn't like the name of website. So it's just a long name. I don't remember how many letters, like plus 20 letters on this domain name. That was some kind of keyword, but he didn't like this domain. It didn't help to rank on Google, nothing. So we decided to change the name, and we switched to short name from .com long to short .biz. And this website today ranks well. But what we found today, this redirect 301 redirect from the previous domain to a new one was broken, and it happened. Nobody could find it out for a few months. We lost a lot of links, and we spent so much time to acquire these links. We created this redirect. Then when it happened, we lost them. We lost some domain authority. That was weird. We didn't lose traffic, but we lost domain authority. Probably it can impact as well. I don't know exactly, but I want to ask you how to control the process, because it's not like, okay, we migrated, redirect works, everything is fine, but it's not the first time when redirect is broken in some time. We met such issue a few times. Can you tell how to control, or how to set up redirect that will not will be break one more time? So
where did you set up the redirects, and that, do you know where they were controlled?
We controlled in our hosting. So that was we couldn't control in registrator. I mean, like domain registrator on GoDaddy, because you can set up only to a new domain. I mean, like without redirecting all pages to new pages in registrator. But in hosting, it's possible, and that was important to set up SSL certificates. From 2 versions, HTTP and HTTPS, 2 new versions. So yeah, we did it on server.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean that would have been my first question. Where are they controlled? Because I've seen it in the past where people have controlled these redirects within WordPress and then they've deleted that site because they've done the migration and then that's why your redirects don't work is because you've got rid of that site. But yeah, that's interesting. So if it's on are they both hosted with the same hosting provider?
Yes.
And nobody deleted the redirects that were implemented and left.
We have plus for developers. Like for developers who can work the full time, and a few developers can help. We'll outsource them. So we didn't know how it happened, but it happened anyway. The main question it's not like how to avoid such issue. If it happens, that's okay. But how to find out, because it's tough to open these redirects every single day manually to check if everything is fine. How to control, because if it happens and we can fix it in this day or in the next day, that's okay, that's perfectly fine. But if we fix after a few months, it can impact the project.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of it comes down to, obviously you'll do your post migration checks after it's happened. For me, when I'm working on a migration, I don't just do my post migration checks once. I'll do them again like a month later and just make sure that all the redirects are still working and that everything else is still in a good position that we want it to be. But also just keeping an eye on your analytics, like just spending 5-10 minutes every morning just doing like top level health checks. Is everything still working? Do things look good in your analytics? Are we still at a same sort of level? If you start to see things declining, then that's where you can start to dig in straight away and find where these issues are rather than waiting until it's too late. But honestly, those like 5-10 minutes in the morning, just doing a little bit of digging around can make a huge difference, especially if you annotate in your analytics when you made this migration or any major change. It doesn't have to be a migration, but any change that happens, you should be annotating it with analytics. And then it's so much easier to see when things start to go good or when things start to go bad. And then you can start to like reverse engineer it. So, okay, things are going bad now. Start at number one. Am my redirects still working? Yes. Okay, what's next? What else could be affecting this? Is there something with the content? Are things not rendering properly? But then, start working through your checks that way again and just figure out where things have gone wrong. And like I say, it's not just a case of doing your post-migration checks once. Do it again on month 2. If you need to, do it again on month 3. Do it until you're fully happy with everything. But when you're doing like a domain change as well, set it up within Google Search Console. You can do, what's it called? Like a domain transfer. No, it's not what it's called. Change of name. I can't remember what it's called. Change of name in Google Search Console. So it transfers all of the old data that it has with the old domain to the new domain. And that'll allow you to really keep track of everything within the one account without having to keep switching between accounts. And that's really useful for keeping track of everything as well.
Awesome. Love it. And one more thing, we found some tools online where you can add your previous URLs, past URLs, and these tools can send alerts. I don't know how it works. We didn't test it, but we set up alerts. We will see if it happens. I can share more insights about that. Nikki, I want to ask about AI. Once I got a question from my customer. He asked on Bart about technical optimization tips. So basically on Bart, you can today add your URL and ask Bart, please check technical optimization. And what I found, most of these tips are so generic, nothing special. Probably Bart is not ready to check URLs like experts can do, and even some tips were misleading. You need to write a title like this, you need to write a description like that, and everything is connected with average data. Nothing, it's not like personal experience without personalization. Can you tell how to use AI today in technical optimization in the right way? Because in writing it's a must-have. I use Bart, I use ChatGPT, but of course I check everything manually. I can spend time to edit, and for example, we use ChatGPT for PR, and we edit press releases on ChatGPT. Basically, I write bad copy, very bad copy, a lot of grammar mistakes. Then I ask ChatGPT, please edit all my copy, and we got mentions on many big websites like CNN, Bloomberg, CoinDesk, Yahoo Finance, because of editing. I don't ask to write from scratch. I can ask, but I can get very generic, and journalists will never publish this nonsense. But I want to ask about technical optimization. How you use ChatGPT or BART or any other AI tool to get right results?
Basically using the same sort of concepts, not getting it to start from scratch, but using it to just help me. So it might be that I need ChatGPT to generate a spreadsheet formula that'll help me to figure out what I need in this piece of data, or the same with regex. Like, I want a regex filter that I can add into Google Search Console that'll give me these certain keywords that fit this criteria. I've also used it to give me some top level insights for like benchmarks and that sort of thing, but definitely for the most part, yeah, it's using formulas and that sort of thing. The only thing with that is, same with content, you need to check it, because sometimes it can give you really long formulas that actually a short one would do. So definitely do your due diligence and double check that the formulas make sense. Try them out on some other data before implementing it on yours, and make sure that it is actually as sensible as it can be, and that's actually going to do what you want it to do. You don't want to implement it on anything and then lose the old data, which I've seen happen with some databases. So just check everything, and that's the key with any AI tool, isn't it? Is don't trust it 100%. Use it to help you to do your job, but don't use it to replace you doing your job.
Yeah, got it. Let's talk about programmatic pages. And we create a lot of such pages by using AI, but we don't create these pages without checking manually. I mean, like, of course, if we create million pages, we don't check them, but we check a few pages. It's enough to understand that all other pages have high quality content. And I think Google loves AI content if you can create with AI valuable content, high quality content. It's possible, but I want to ask how to check million programmatic pages because it's tough by using tools. And if you have any experience on that, I mean, like if we create plus million pages programmatically, so give tips how to check all of them, or probably some part of these pages, and to have this summary if everything is fine.
It's not something that I have a huge amount of experience in within programmatic, but I would starting out with a really good template that is logical and that is based on research of data, but also real users. What's their experience, what is it they're looking for, and how are you looking to fulfill the intent that they have with your pages. Then once you've built them out, once they've been crawled and indexed, I'd look at my top 10, say, performing pages and see if there's any differences between them and your other pages that are not performing as well. Is it just generic content that's exactly the same on each one, and the only thing different is Manchester, and then you've got the same content, blah, 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 London? Is that the only difference, or is there something else that you can apply that'll be slightly more manual to do that? But then that way you're only checking like 10, 20 pages at a time rather than millions, and then that's something that's more scalable, and it's also going to have that human element that's going to make you stand out as well. So by focusing on your top performing pages, figuring out what works with those, and applying it to your lesser performing pages, and then you can use that to create an even better template, so that then you can then apply that to everything and update all of them at once.
Yeah, makes sense. Why not? Yeah, it's a good idea to check which pages can get traffic on Google Search Console, to analyze them. I mean, like, or choose any other pages. Yeah, love it. Nikki, let's talk about mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in SEO. I keep doing them. I don't know how to figure out what actually works without doing mistakes. But it's the way to acquire experience. I have no idea how to do it in the right way. I can learn from courses, I can learn on YouTube, Google, but without doing nothing, you can get nothing. And can you list mistakes that we can avoid? I mean, like, okay, webmasters can learn from some mistakes and avoid them. Some mistakes we need to do to learn from them. So if you have a list mistakes that we can avoid, let us know. Common mistakes, anything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think mistakes is how we all learn, and no one's perfect and no one's meant to be. But actually, by making these mistakes, that's how we learn to avoid them in the future. So it's not a bad thing that they happen, as long as you then don't make them a second time, right? So you got things like mobile optimization. Hopefully that should be pretty standard these days, but I do still see it happening on some client sites where they'll come to me with like a new website design, and they don't have any differences in the mobile design. They've just got the one desktop design, completely forgetting the fact that most of their audience use mobile devices. So that huge carousel image at the top isn't going to work well on mobile. It's going to be absolutely tiny and squashed, but they think that doesn't matter because the CEO only looks at the website on a desktop. Therefore, that's all that matters. But it's absolutely not the case. You need to make sure that the right people are involved and that you are keeping mobile in mind. It's a mobile first index after all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, like similarly on that, make sure that you're testing it on different browsers as well as mobile browsers, but test it on Safari, test it on Chrome. They do look different and they do behave differently. So actually, is it looking as it should on all of these different browsers, or are there issues that you need to look out for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Another one is like making sure that you've got good calls to action within the content, whether you're an e-commerce store or a service-based business. If you've not got any calls to action on that website, how do you expect people to convert? If you're just going to have all the information on there and then that's it, then you might as well just be like a newspaper, because certainly nobody's going to do what you want them to do, and then you're not going to make any money, basically. And that's what most websites are trying to do, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Keeping the content updated is another big issue. People just seem to think that they can just create content once and then basically forget it. But no, you need to make sure that it's continually updated. It has the latest information. Otherwise, you're going to have incorrect or misleading information that's only going to look bad on you and your brand. A common one is also like people just leaving large numbers of 404s on their website and thinking that it doesn't matter. It does, because not only is it bad for your audience, they have a really bad user experience if they come across a large number of 404s, but it makes a difference for search engines as well, because if they keep coming across all of these 404s or even similar errors, server errors, whatever it might be on your website, they're going to start to think, okay, this website isn't very well monitored, it's not very well maintained, a lot of the pages that I find are missing, therefore it's probably not very good. And they'll start to rank that website lower in search engines, which means that it's going to then rank its competitors higher in search engines. So 404s and other similar errors, they have a lot of other repercussions than what you might think, and things like that. But just keeping a constant eye on things. Other things is people not actually analyzing the results. You might not think that it's a tech SEO mistake, but it is. If you're not tracking the results from things that you fixed, how do you know it worked? What if it didn't work, but you're not tracking it, so then actually your performance has gone down? These are all things that you really need to make sure that you're taking into consideration, because otherwise, how are you going to learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen again if it is a mistake, or if it's something that's good? How are you going to know that it works, that then you can try it again or do it with a different client? But also, like another common one, again, you spoke about links when you were talking about the migration that you had. Reclaiming or updating broken links is another really powerful one, and this goes for whether it's a migration or not. Links do get broken over time. That can be because you've got a couple of pages that have updated, but the link's been removed. Or perhaps the journalist that was linking to you, they've updated their content and accidentally took your link out of it. You can reach out to them and just be like, hey, this link has gone, but it's still relevant to the article that you've got. You might added it back in. And chances are they will. Or it might be that the link's still there, but it's broken because your URL has changed and it's a 404, or that it's now pointing to a page that's not the one that you want it to. So again, you can add in that redirect or just message them and say, you're already linking to our website, but actually, can you change that link to this one instead? And you'll find that that'll have a really big impact. And there's plenty of mistakes that people can can make and may not even think they're mistakes. And you're talking beyond your more typical ones that you might come across, like sitemap issues not being not containing the right URLs, or including a disallow everything within your robots.txt. There's so many more that you can come across. I mean, I've got a few blogs on it on my websites that talk about these and how you can avoid them. And there's plenty of other great resources out there that can help you keep track of these as well.
Nice. Love it. Valuable. So valuable. And Nikki, I still have a lot of questions to you, but I hope everyone who can listen to this episode can follow Nikki on social media to keep learning, because it's tough to ask all questions in one podcast. And many new things are coming fast. We need to update what we have. And if something works today, doesn't mean it will work tomorrow. But anyway, I want to ask the last question about the future. I'm not sure about the future of SEO, and let me explain why. I think when featured snippets or other blogs on Google appealed, many webmasters started to complain that Google can steal our content, and users don't click to websites. I think when ChatGPT and other AI tools appealed, these tools just rewrite our content without even linking to us. So webmasters, we will miss this day when featured snippets link to us. And I'm not sure about the future, because 12% of users today use more often AI tools, including me. I can ask a lot of questions on ChatGPT. I speak with this tool more often than with my wife. I love this tool. I can spend time with this tool. A lot of great answers. And I switch my attention more often from Google, because what I like on this format, that I can get the answer to my question, but on Google I can get content. I need to research the answer on my question on this content. And long questions, AI tools can provide much better results with long questions. For example, when I ask on ChatGPT, can I use Tesla self-drivers feature in Florida, I got this answer for a few seconds, and that was tough to find answer on Google. So I got a lot of information about Tesla, about electric cars, why we need to save this world. Of course, we need to save this world. Of course, we need to have electric cars, but I don't need it. I need just answer to my simple question. And that is why it's popular. I'm not sure about the future, but I know it's important to adapt. Whatever happens, we need to adapt. So that is why I disagree when someone can tell SEO will never be dead. Everything has the end, including SEO. But today it's still a powerful channel that brings more traffic than any other channel. It takes time to change habits. But I wanna ask you your prediction about the future and how we can adapt to this possible future.
SEO isn't dead. It's not going to die. It's just going to change. It's already changed within, the past 5 years, 10 years, even more so. It's search engine optimization. It's not Google optimization. Yes, Google is the biggest, of course, but there's so many different search engines that we can use. YouTube is obviously, like the second biggest search engine. You've got TikTok, who's now a massive search engine, and more people are using that to research. I've seen quite a few people, including me and my wife, when we were on our holiday, we went into TikTok and we were like, bakeries near me, and then we were looking at real users that had posted their content of a really nice bakery with, beautiful pastries on there. And I wouldn't have found the same sort of answers on Google. You're right, the same as with your Tesla example. But these are all still search engines, and we can all still use them. The same with App Store optimization. The App Store, whether it's Apple or Google Play, they're still search engines. So it could be that we just, place more attention on those sorts of search engines rather than Google. But also Google itself has changed. Yeah, you're right. There's more zero-click searches now, especially if you're in certain industries like flight. You can book a flight right on the SERP without leaving. And of course, that's not the only example. But you're absolutely still going to need websites, and you cannot fully trust these other tools, especially with the likes of ChatGPT when it comes to things like health searches or anything else that's more regulated. If I type into Google, like, I've got a pain in type into ChatGPT, I've got a pain in my head, what do I do? That's probably going to come up with the answers that Google had like 10 years ago, where it thinks that I've got some sort of bad disease and I'm going to die within a week. This is what Google has really improved with. It's not just worst case scenario now with those sorts of health searches on Google. It'll say, you're probably fine, just have some paracetamol, and it'll be, the NHS or other reputable websites that provide this information now, not just Nikki's health blog with lots of wrong information on there. But we don't know always where ChatGPT is getting that information from. So it could be out of date, it could be untrustworthy. So you're always going to need websites and reputable websites for that sort of information. But, obviously it's not just health websites that have this. There's plenty of other industries where you're always going to need that as well. And also things like, what if the rule about the Tesla in Florida changed today? What if the governor or the mayor was suddenly put a rule in, it's like they're all banned? That might be updated in Google really quickly because it'll be all over the news. But ChatGPT is not going to have that information yet because they need still to crawl it and update it and put that into their little index and do it that way. So it depends what information you're looking for as well, because it's not going to be as timely as the likes of Google. So I think we'll be fine. We just need to keep adapting like we've always done as search marketers.
Yeah, I think ChatGPT doesn't use real data, but Bart uses. So I check Bart, such questions if it's time sensitive. And but I agree, completely agree. We still need websites, and I think even if we lose SEO traffic, we still need website speed. We still need high quality content. SEO can teach how to increase website speed, how to create high quality content that will work at any environment. So and it's important to build your brands as well.
Yeah, and if you're like an e-commerce website, Google, touch wood, isn't going to take any of that away because it can only do so much in the e-commerce space. So like e-commerce websites, I think you're fine. And plus, especially if you're a smaller brand, because there's more and more people now that want to shop small. They want to buy local. They're sick of buying from people like Amazon, myself included. I know I said at the start of this that I spend too much money on Amazon, and I do. I want to shop small. So there's things like that where you're always going to need a search engine to find them. And, that's where the real strength comes in, especially in e-commerce, because you can refine your searches within that, and Google can't take that away.
Nice. Love it. Nikki, it's a big pleasure to get on my show, to learn from you. I love this experience. You are so kind to share these valuable bombs. I need to spend time to figure out how to implement them. I love this experience. Thanks so much. Guys, you can find links to Nikki LinkedIn profile, to social media in the description to this podcast. Thanks again, Nikki. A big pleasure. Welcome back anytime to share more valuable insights. Tell the best way how to reach out to you, how to cooperate with you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. Yeah, check me out on Twitter, Nikki R. Halliwell. You can visit my website at nikkihalliwell.com. Also, make sure you check out the agency I work for, which is Journey Further. We're doing lots of amazing stuff. We can certainly help you guys out. You'll find me on LinkedIn as well. Just type in my name, Nikki Halliwell. And I've got a tech audit site as well. If you're looking for a tech audit, I'd love to help. It's just techseoaudits.com.
Yeah, nice. Guys, you can find all these links to Twitter, X today. I see Elon Musk didn't break your heart. So he needs more time probably.
I still call it Twitter. I can't call it X. It's still Twitter.
Yeah, okay. Twitter, X, LinkedIn, website, you can find in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.